My name is Kelly Allen. I've been attending Whiteford Wesleyan Church for quite a while. I was 15 when we started attending, and I'm a lot older. Pastor Rick asked me to speak about something that is kind of a recent change in my life. I have a long drive to work. It's about 35 to 40 minutes, and I listen to Christian music just about every time, 98% of the time in the car. And that's all good and fine, and sometimes I like to sing, but then my mind wanders and I'm not really thinking about anything important. And I'm pretty sure God put it in my head that I should look for an audio Bible that I could listen to, because my route is kind of boring and straight, and there's not a lot of activity that happens, so it'd be easy to pay attention to something like that. So I searched on my phone for an audio Bible, and I was kind of surprised that I had to go through apps. So I searched, I was searching the apps to see if I could find a good audio Bible, which I thought would be really easy to find, and I did come across an app called Audiobooks, and I went ahead and opened that because I had searched under audio Bible, and that's what came up. So I opened up the app, and it said I get my first book free, and I thought, well, perfect, I'm getting the Bible on my app for free. So I downloaded that, and it was kind of strange looking because it's downloaded into these sections, and it doesn't tell you where you're at in the Bible. You just start, I guess. And I didn't want to start from the beginning. I actually thought I'll start in the New Testament and then I'll go back to the Old Testament. Well, it was hard finding Matthew because I'm just flipping through things. So I ended up landing in James, and it was the beginning of one of the downloads. And I was overwhelmed, and I'm going to probably cry because I'm emotional, but I was overwhelmed at what I was hearing, because it was different. It's different than just reading. And I've always struggled with reading. I have a hard time comprehending stuff that I've read, and I get easily sidetracked and have to read and reread stuff, and so I avoid reading if I can help it. It's different when you're reading, like sitting in church. It's very easy to read the Bible in church, in Sunday school, whatever, but at home, there's a lot of distractions. So that was the other reason why I thought the audio Bible would be great, because I'm not going to have any distractions in the vehicle, which is totally accurate. So I'm listening to the Bible, and it was like I was hearing a lot of things for the first time, and it was just really exciting. And it's not that my life is so drastically changed right now because of that, but I look forward to getting in my car to go to work. Not because I want to go to work, but I look forward to listening to the Bible. And yesterday was a long day, and I'm in Matthew now. I went James through Jude, and then I backtracked and found Job, because I thought, oh, I want to hear Job. Well, it's kind of sad to listen to Job talk when you're hearing it and not just reading it. So I'll go back and listen to it again and again. But anyway, so I went through Proverbs and Song of Solomon and all that, and got to Matthew. So what I was listening to last night was Jesus speaking to the people in various situations, the loaves and fishes story, and the bridal party story, all of that part of his, brief parts of his ministry. And last night was his preparation for dying on the cross. And just to hear it, I mean, when you see the movies, I have a hard time watching movies about Jesus' crucifixion. And when you read it, it's different. But to listen to somebody say it, it's just hard. And the one thing that he was talking about, or the one thing that really struck me, was when he was talking to the disciples in the room for their dinner celebration, and Jesus mentioned that one of you is going to betray me, and Judas said, "Surely it's not me, Lord." And of course, Jesus said, and I never even heard this or saw this before, but Jesus said, "You said so." And it hit me hard, because it's like, I never realized that Jesus actually told Judas that it was going to be him. I mean, that's what he was doing. He was saying, "Yes, it's you." And then Judas continued anyway. And it just struck a chord in me that somebody that was supposed to be so close to Jesus would betray him in that way. And even though he was found out, he still went through with his plan. So that's just an example of one of the ways that listening to the Bible has made the Bible not more real, but I'm hearing things differently. And part of that could be my age as well, but I'm hearing more than just the stories. I'm hearing the background and the meaning. And the good thing about the app is, if I miss something or I didn't catch what he said, I can kind of rewind and go back to what I wanted to listen to again or to understand better. So that's kind of what's going on with me right now, and I'm really enjoying this time. I think it is time with God. I mean, it's about, listening to his word and listening to it through a nice, calm, soothing voice, who's articulate, and knowing that it's actually the Bible. It's not just somebody sitting back and telling stories or telling their perception of what may have happened during Jesus' time, or even back in Bible days, period. So it's just been awesome to have this tool that I have to spend time with God, and it's undivided attention for the most part, and makes my ride go faster. And I just can't believe how fast I'm getting through the Bible, because I'm already, I would say, maybe a third of the way through, and I just started this in January, like mid-January. So it's pretty exciting, because now I feel like I can tackle the Bible. I can listen to this over and over and over again, and I think the next time, after I completely finish this, then I will probably start from Genesis this time, and go through the whole thing. So having this opportunity in front of me is impacting my life in a way that not that I see Jesus differently, but I think I see him better. And it's just a different relationship. And to hear about, even in the Old Testament, the love of God, and then to hear now in Matthew the love of Jesus, and how he truly did. He loved some pretty ugly people, and as I said, Judas was one of them. I didn't even know, and I'm sure I've heard it 50 billion times in my years, but I did not know that Judas was stealing their money. Like, they had a pot of money that they carried around, and that's kind of how they survived in their ministry, the disciples and Jesus, and he would dip into it. It's just like, oh my goodness, this is Jesus, and you're taking money right in front of him. But that just shows the love of God, the love of Jesus, the love Jesus had for his people, for his disciples, regardless of how everyday they were, because they were very much everyday people that make mistakes and have problems, and he loved them and loves us. And this has just been a great tool for me to see the love of God coming through in an audible voice. For whatever reason, God made me gave me, I guess, the ability to love people and to see behind their actions and just love people. But this goes beyond, basically beyond what we can comprehend and what we as humans, I think, can do. Even though Jesus was in human form, he still was more perfect than we'll ever be. But it just explains how love through Jesus works and how we need to look even deeper into people before we make decisions on who they are or what they've done, but on who they can become through Christ.